We're coming out dangerous.
Rockets going off.
Sometimes the brightest stars shine for the shortest amount of time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They heard us all across Tallahassee after that one.
We got to bring home the W.
Oh yeah, we're going to destroy them.
Put them on the Heisman watch.
They're fine, man.
Big Ten Player of the Year.
We're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I played a little adult league, goalie.
I felt like I scored in the World Cup, but I didn't even score.
Controversy? Question mark?
Pure chaos.
To go crazy was insane.
Chris Petley, he was the defensive MVP of the 2019 season.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in my prime right now. Let's go.
Welcome back to the TallySCtalk podcast. We have a little special edition segment for you here. Of course, you heard us talk a number of different things about the team and the upcoming season and all that, and our recent opponent here on Saturday. But what you didn't hear from was from the enemy themselves. So we're going to go into a new segment we call Behind Enemy Lines. Of course, a new opportunity for us to talk to the people involved in the other team coming up this weekend. So we were able to catch up with the owner of the Florida Roots, Coach Hammond. So we want to bring in Coach Hammond. Thanks for making some time for us, Coach. Appreciate you taking some time to give us a look behind enemy lines. Talk a little bit about the state of affairs going on at the program as a whole.
Yeah, for being our first season, you know, we knew this was going to be kind of a feeling out process for us as far as the level of play goes. And the first 3 games, we had obviously our first game against you guys. It didn't start off good. I was worried at the beginning. I'm like, man, this might get out of hand, but we kept fighting and came back, and we're up 3-2 at halftime after going down 2-0 in the first couple minutes. So, and then we played a really good Jacksonville team, and you know, we were able to keep it 0-0 at halftime, and I think some conditioning got the best of us there in the second half, and obviously it seemed that team had played together for a while, the way they moved on and off the ball. So, yeah, and then we followed it up with a game against AFC Mobile, and we went up early again, and just some unfortunate a penalty kick in the box, a questionable second goal that a lot of the players and even the announcers seem to think that it went off, you know, their striker's hand. And so we ended up losing 2-1. So a couple tough breaks here and there, but overall, we're happy about the excitement around our city, and you know, we're happy with the players and the hard work they've been putting in.
Speak to that a little bit as far as small-time soccer is so community-based, and
Right.
So just talk about the formation, how you get the players involved, because sometimes it's tougher than you may think to get 18 guys out there to roll it out, especially like you said, year one. Of course, year one for us jumping into NPSL, but you know, we had the 2019 season to fall back on. Talk about big picture and why was this an option and why was this desirable here for that Panama City area?
Yeah, so I own a youth program here in Panama City called Florida Roots, obviously, and so we're a newer club. You know, we're about 3 years in, and we've had several guys that we've helped make it to that next level at college. One of them actually plays for the Tallahassee team, Cy Fontenot. So, you know, we just started seeing that there was a need for a team here in Panama City to kind of fill in that gap from Tallahassee to Pensacola. Also, we, you know, with the name Roots, we want to feature these local players in the Panhandle. This region, when you talk in terms of FYSA, I call it, ever since I played back in the day, the forgotten region. You know, it's that the Panhandle where, you know, a lot of soccer talent dies because they don't have that next level. And so, yeah, it just seemed like the right move for us. And, you know, as far as our goal, you know, right now, 80% of the roster are local players from this area. So we hope one day that's, you know, 99 to 100%, you know, so.
You talked about one of the crossovers, obviously, Cy, coming up through your youth program, and over there in UWF, you know, kind of more towards your guys' territory. And I know you said offhand, Coach, that you have a lot of connections to the Tallahassee team where there's a lot of crossover. You know, a lot of these guys play each other in high school. You got the really good programs, especially obviously Arnold being out there is huge, really, you know, perennially a state factor. Talk about the interwoven teams here that we have. Obviously, already having playing once to a draw, of course, interestingly enough. And so coming back here, I guess kind of the tie break. But, yeah, going into a little about more on the personal side of the connections we have here.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the Arnold boys head coach. And we had a great year this year winning the state championship. So, you know, a lot of these boys like Drew Donk, he's played with us in the club for several years. I know kind of with his family situation the last year or so, he's been at ASG. But there's so many ties to Tallahassee. I used to play for Coach Warner at Warner Soccer Club back in '99 and 2000. And he's been a mentor to me. He's why this club is here now. I speak to Coach Warner probably twice a week. Obviously, Josh Bruno is another friend of mine that we have some battles with him at Lincoln. So playing some of the guys like Mateus and Drew at McClay, and just some of the other guys that have played at Leon and Charles and Florida High, you know, we play those schools every year, and there's always some good back and forth competition. And like you said, a lot of these guys know each other. Either they've played on a team together. I've coached some of them. So it's cool how it's all mixed together. So they like to go and compete against each other on the field. So
talking to Coach Warner and dealing with him the last couple of years, he said you guys were by far and away the best team that they played this season. I think you guys, what was it, 1-1 or 2-2 that you guys tied out there?
Yeah, it was 1-1. You know, that was early in the season. That was a good game for us to have. You know, we ended the season 25-0-2, and we had 2 ties in the first 3 games. So we figured some things out and came back and won 24 straight. So it was good to have those 2 ties. One of them we got to play Fort Walton again and beat them 5-1. So there was just some small things we had to figure out, and you know, it was good for us. McClay always gives us a tough game. I think my record against Coach Warner, I think he's got 1 win over me. So I got to get him back next year, get that win back. So
talk a little bit about the identity of the team, because I feel like kind of in that regard, we have some similarities back to the Florida Roots and TSC, both of which kind of seem like a scrappy bunch. I mean, I felt like we had a very physical battle going in week 1. Obviously, a little bit of a different feel. You know, you guys were opening up the season, the stadium, the league, everything was new, and there's, you know, obviously some differences and some emotions you have to deal with doing the first of anything. But I guess kind of recap that game specifically / talk a little bit about your personnel or perhaps the identity of your ball club.
Yeah, well, to talk about our team, we're a very young team, you know, and we felt that there was a good chance that we were going to be in some battles this year and maybe even take some lumps. And our vision is like, okay, you know, in the next 2 or 3 years, can we win this conference if we keep that core group together? So I think that was important to us. Let's go out there and battle now, see where we are. And the Tallahassee game was a good test. Like I said, you know, in the first few minutes, I'm like, man, this isn't what I was expecting. And so they came out really, really tough. We had some guys in some positions that normally wouldn't play in those positions, and I think there was some nerves in the beginning, but they pulled it together. And I think you saw in that game that we're 2 very similar teams, because I know they have some younger players as well. You know, we have 2 guys that one guy that's a junior in high school this year, that'll be a senior next year, and then one guy that's a senior who's graduating, looking at FAU right now. So, you know, I know Drew and Mateus, you know, they're graduating seniors also. So it's 2 young teams that love to compete, have a lot of talent on it. And so it was just exciting to see that on the field. I mean, 6 goals scored in a game is always exciting for the fans. And so it was a good way to kick off the season.
Yeah, it kind of started a pattern for us because we did the same exact thing. We went over to Pensacola and 3-3 again. So it seems every time we head out to the west that goes down. Coach, I know kind of a little bit of a fun / mythical, I don't know if you've heard about it, the kind of murmurings of the 850 Cup. Has that noise made it out to you in Panama City? And is that
Yeah,
just some hearsay, or is that getting legit? Because I know here in Tallahassee, they went and got a trophy made, so I don't know if you guys are honoring it or kind of what's your whole perspective in it, but I'd love to see what the other side of the coin looks like.
Yeah, 100%. Chris reached out to me about it. I said, that's a great idea. We'd love to do that. And I'm sure Pensacola feels the same way over there. So, yeah, I think that's a neat idea. I know there's some other teams that have some rivalries, and I think there's another cup somewhere else, out west. So it's fun, right? So it's kind of some bragging rights within the league, and hopefully we can go out there and win it. It would be nice.
Yeah, it's a cool split as well, because obviously the 3 and the 850, and then you bring in Jacksonville. So Florida versus the rest of the Panhandle, kind of that East-West mentality.
Right.
So as we think of the East, I mean, we've played all the Eastern teams here in the early part of the schedule. I know you guys played Mobile. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was last week.
Okay. What's kind of the story with them, or I guess a little scouting report, because obviously we're going to have them coming up, and you're going to, of course, have to play them again as well.
Yeah, I think we were in the game right away. Had a really good first half. I think Coach had to make some changes, and like I said, we got scored on by a PK that was a handball in the box. But you look back at that video, it hits his shoulder, his arms down. So sometimes you get players yelling at the ref, and he has to make a call real quick, and so it's part of the game. And then 2 handballs, got them 2 goals. One that was called against us, one that wasn't called against them. They have a great striker up front. It just seemed like every ball that was played to him, no matter how high or low it was, he was able to bring it down in one touch. They moved the ball really well. They're a good team, but I think the scoreline shows that we can play with them, and you guys will be able to too.
Yeah, Coach, talk about big-time strikers, of course. At least when we played, looking from the outside, one of the men of the match, or if I had to pick a candidate, what I believe is Ricardo, the big number 9 you guys have up top. Tell us a little bit about him, because he's, from what I heard, he's one of the older guys on the squad, right?
Yeah, he is. He's been living here for several years now. He played with the Jamaican national team. He won the, I believe, under-21 World Cup or something like that with Jamaican national team. So he's been here several years, and seeing him in some of the adult leagues, we knew we had to bring him in. He's just somebody that you can find his feet, and you're not going to knock off the ball. And if he gets a chance to score inside the 18, 9 times out of 10, he puts it away. So I guess he's one of those strikers that either goes in the back of the net or it goes to the parking lot. We've seen those before, right? So he's a great guy, very respectful, humble, hard worker. And some of the experiences he's had, it's just good for some of these younger guys.
Super cool to have somebody with that kind of experience, like you were saying. And
right.
He's a big part of don't you guys have a Caribbean league or something in the area out there that he's a really big part of?
Yeah, we have they call it Jamaican League over here, and they play Sunday nights in their season, but there's teams from Fort Walton to South Walton, and they play in different places, and there's a lot of talent here. And I think because they see Ricardo here, we've had a lot of Jamaicans reach out to us. We have another Jamaican on the team, Ty McKetty. We've had a couple others try out and made the team, but for whatever with their work schedule, they weren't able to stay, and they were really talented. So hopefully that'll continue to grow. We have a lot of Jamaicans in the area that are working here at the beach, and Ricardo's actually made Panama City his home now, so we call him a local.
Yeah, he's one of the many guys you guys have in the strike force. Of course, 4 different players to score for you guys this season. I think it was Beasley, Rulas, and Kearns. Obviously got the one against Mobile. Tell us a little bit about the attack and some of those other guys and what you enjoy watching or what they bring to the table for you guys. There's definitely some nice touch and some quality with those guys, among the others, of course.
Yeah. Andrew Beasley is one of the guys that you'll see wearing the captain's armband. He a great communicator on the field. He scored the first goal for us against you guys with a PK. I actually coached against him my first 3 years at Arnold. He was the head coach at Mosley High School. So he has a wealth of knowledge about the game, and just a great person, works hard. And he's like having a player coach on the field. He can direct the guys and do a lot of talking to some of these younger guys. They don't do as much. So he's a great one for us. Angel scored, I believe it was the second goal against you guys. Angel actually came from California. And so he reached out to us, decided he wanted to come over, and he's been a big part. Now, Angel, against you guys, in the first game, he played center back, and he had that first mistake that led to the goal. Angel's not a center back. He was filling in that role while we're waiting to get some other players from college. So he's dangerous in the air. He's probably plays more of a 7 or 11, and really has the ability to play anywhere on the field. Other than that, we have several local guys. Taylor Bradley played for me at Arnold, actually was an assistant coach this year and plays soccer at Huntington. He has our long throw, plays left or right back. We put Sammy on Cy because we know Cy's ability. Sammy that marked Sammy's not a right back. He's not a left back. He's more of he could play the 9, 10, 7, or 11. So, knowing Cy's ability, we had to put somebody on that matched his speed. And so it's kind of funny seeing Cy out there on the left wing because he always played for me as that 9 role. And, you just knew he was going to score at some point in the game. And then he scored in the first 2 minutes against us. So I got to talk to him about that. But anyways, just great talent all around. Liam Kearns, another local player from Arnold. You'll see Ben Lebdowie. I believe he wears number 21. He's a junior. And a lot of these guys that we do have from other countries or other cities and states, they play with Ben. They're like, there's no way he's a junior. He's just so skilled. His sister is actually already has a verbal commitment to Florida State. So she'll be playing soccer over there, and Ben will go to Division I somewhere as well. So, man, I could go on and on about the players that we have, a lot of local guys. Our goalkeeper, Josh Burton, he is just got named, I don't know, forget exactly what it is, but it's they pick players from throughout the NPSL, and he was named the starting 11 goalkeeper. Because he's made some big saves for us against you guys, against Jacksonville, and against AFC Mobile. So we got a great group of players, and I think the toughest thing for us is, and for a lot of teams, it doesn't seem to be for Jacksonville, because I've heard that they've been training since February, but it's just getting guys that have never played together before on the same page. That's the toughest challenge that. I know Josh faces and we do as well. And so, but no, it's fun. I mean, we love it. We're so excited to be a part of the league, and we look forward to the rest of the season.
I don't know how it's been for you guys, but it seems that every week or two we'll get 2 or 3 more guys coming back, from the area, played here, live here in Tallahassee, but coming back into the area from college, all over the place. And so, it's almost on a weekly basis. They have to establish that new dynamic. And I mean, that's tricky, and that goes a long way, to get in a cohesive 11 or cohesive 18 on every given Saturday.
It definitely does. When we joined the league, I wasn't expecting the outreach from other players from all over the world. I mean, I'm still to this day, I'm getting emails and messages, 20 or 30 a week from players all over the world, players from the area. Hey, coach, is it too late to try out? So I think before that, we must have got 100, 200, messages. And like I said, we're trying to keep it local. Right now, we know we can't do that being this young of a club, but we hope and our goal is to continue to develop the local players and create that pathway for them. So hopefully one day it's a large portion of just local players.
Cool. You talked about the youth on the team, coach. You guys toying around or any thoughts on, obviously they have in the fall coming up with the U19 league. I know we just jumped aboard this season and they kind of did like a beta version of it. I don't know if you guys were a part of that or if you're thinking about jumping in on it this fall. Any thoughts U19 wise?
Yeah, we were a part of it this year in the spring. It was us, Southern States, New Orleans, and Port City. And we finished second in the league. We were the only team to beat Southern States. You look at, for that U19 league, you are able to bring 3 players over the age of 19, right? And it's funny because the 3 players Southern States brought are 3 starters on their men's team, right? So they were out to win it this year. They did. They had a good team. We were able to beat them 4-2 at home, which was their only loss. And I think other than that, we pretty much ran the table. It was tough for our guys because most of our guys just came off a state championship, right?
Yeah.
Just won 27, 25-0-2, and they're like exhausted. So to play Southern States the first 3 games after that, it wasn't easy. And we found that was tough, right? In the spring to get those players motivated, after a long high school season to play again. So we think it's great. We want to do it again this year in the fall. We missed out on the fall last time. I talked to Josh a little bit about it. I think if we can get everybody involved and work out some of the kinks that they had last season, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, as far as, kind of the growth of the program, it just kind of fits in naturally, both as a further bridge, not only from the youth, but then also guys that aren't up to the senior team to have that other league to develop, but stay within the grasp of the program. And obviously just as a sport as a whole, having that in the area and that in the community, just another outlet for those that aren't necessarily having the opportunity to go play college, but stay here, still participate in the community. Like you said, you guys very high percentage with all that. So super cool,
Right.
Super cool. Glad you guys are going to continue to do that. And we're ready to join you in the fall, Coach. We'll be
awesome.
We'll be
Awesome.
aboard
That's
there.
exciting. It's exciting to get some teams, towards the east because, like I said, for us, it was Hattiesburg, it was New Orleans, it was Port City. So we were the lone one over here and had to do a lot of traveling, but it was fun. I think, there's positives and negatives from it. I think if we wouldn't have played in that season, we would have probably had more of our high school guys compete in the NPSL. But after high school and the U19 league, they needed a break, and I understand that. So I think a lot of them will, enjoy graduating and everything that comes with that. And then you'll start to see them next year for sure.
Coach, have you guys played on turf this year? Because I know you guys have a beautiful, it looked like a natural surface out there at Tommy Oliver. At AFC, did you play on turf? Do you guys have a preference?
Yeah, we 100%. We like natural grass. For us, we played on turf at Mobile. We were kind of warned about that from some other college coaches that it's not the greatest turf field ever. And, we have a new facility that was built here at the Panama City Beach Sports Complex. And I think it has, 10 turf fields. I think that changes the game. Players are reluctant to slide because if you slide, you might have that battle wound for the rest of the season because it just never heals. I think the ball rolls faster, it bounces higher. I have my own opinions about that, right? There's a reason that they don't have national teams play on turf, and I think the injury rate could be higher. So we like to play on natural grass. We like to train on natural grass. We can play on turf. We don't, every once in a while, I think it's okay. But yeah, that's kind of how we feel about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I never played at a high level, but even going through high school, we had a beautiful natural grass field like you guys did, and that was immaculate. I would much rather play on that than a turf field, and especially down here in Florida, it just gets so hot with the pellets and all that.
Well, they have this. They say they have this Z-cap cooling system that's like these pellets in the turf. Man, they're selling snakes all with that, because that stuff doesn't work. It's hot.
Yeah.
So, it's part of it though. I understand why they do it, for maintenance reasons and stuff, and it's just, it's tough, man. I guess if you have a facility, right, and you want to get the most out of it, turf is the best way to go, because, you look at Coach Warner's field, McClay, once lacrosse hits that field, it's destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Our training facility, there's some flag football events that go on. Soccer's played on the ground, that ball rolls on the ground. So if you have, the area where they battle in the lacrosse or football where the ball's hiked over and over again, it just destroys a grass field. So it's tough. Yeah, it's I saw the U.S. Women's team, was fighting to play on grass fields because the men do. And a lot of those women, do not like turf. And I think you can research that. And there's all kinds of stuff about it. But at the end of the day, we're just happy to be playing. So we'll play on the street if we have to. So
yeah, that'll grind it up real good. But yeah, just so you know, I know from seeing the TSC side, we're not gonna be afraid to slide. Just so you know, there's definitely a lot of, as I'm sure you already know from watching the previous game, or if you've been watching the feeds online, this is a team that loves to go to ground. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. If Drew's in there, I know Drew's gonna slide. He's probably gonna take your ankles with it. So he's a beast there in the middle. And it's so funny to watch him over the years. Anytime he plays a bad pass and you win it, you better get rid of it quick, because he's coming back to take it from you. And he's probably going to throw a slide in there with it. So, no, I mean, we know from playing the Tallahassee teams that they love to get on the ground and slide. And so our boys are just going to have to put some slide shorts on and deal with it. We're coming to win the game, and so we'll do whatever we have to.
There you go. So obviously, tough junction coming up, Coach, as far as condensed schedule. Obviously, it seems like everybody has a 2 or 3 week period where they have to play a bunch of games, and so that's going to you guys coming up. You'll have the game Saturday, and then you'll have another Thursday-Saturday combo. So within a week, you'll be playing 3 matches, and of course, one of those includes New Orleans. And, kind of coming into this season, they were kind of portrayed as the big bad club that would kind of be running the league. So tell us a little bit about the upcoming stretch, or kind of any thoughts you have about here. Because then on the backside, you got a Port City team next Saturday, I believe on the 5th, who's looking for their first point. And so they're going to be hungry as well. But tell me about this coming up stretch, because we're both kind of right that 6-7 slot. Yeah. So, I mean, points are kind of getting important now.
They're very important. And, I mean, I think for the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're Thursday, Saturday. Mm-hmm. So it's a big uphill battle for us. Port City, I was kind of following the game last night. I believe they were up on Jacksonville 2-0 at half or something like that, or 2-1 or something. And the game ended up 4-3. So I think – it's my opinion that Jacksonville and Southern States are the teams to beat. I didn't hear that about New Orleans. I believe 100% they have a good team. I think all teams in this league can win on any given night. So, I mean, we're going to go out there and do our best. We have a lot of guys ready to step up. A couple injuries. So we'll just have to work through those, and we're excited about it. I mean, this is the fun part, this last week and a half, it's been slow, and we're ready to get back into it. We're ready to battle. And I think with that, we'll get some consistency on the field and among the players. And so it's exciting for us.
Talk about a little bit about going on the road, because of course you guys had the first two at home and were able to host those and kind of warm up into the season, and then going out to Mobile and obviously having to come over here this weekend. What's kind of the mindset as obviously a coach yourself, and similarly for high school, have to go on. It's a little different. The guys haven't been in school all day, and then you go on the road, so it's a little different feel, but of course still an adverse environment and a big game coming up against two pretty equal teams.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of high school, we had to win the last 4 games on the road. So we spent a week on the road. So it's tough going on the road because you have to manage the players, right? The ups and downs, keep them busy, right? You want them to not focus on the game until, a few hours before the game. You want to keep them relaxed. So we have several things we do with our players. We'll have a game night, to sit down and have them play board games and kind of compete and laugh, little team bonding. Before the games, we have our film study and breakdown of what we're going to see, what we think we're going to see, and all the possibilities there, and go over some of our stuff. And then in that, we do some rehab. We have some TENS machines and some recovery boots and a little massage gun. So we try to mentally prepare our players and physically prepare them for a game and for a long road trip. I think for us, there's no excuses. At this level, you have to be able to compete and anywhere, whether it's at home or away.
True. And it seems like you got a pretty mentally strong ball club as well. I mean, because even just thinking about our game, we scored 22 seconds in and then score another one after that. So you're 4 minutes into the game, already down 2-0. But then, you look, I think it was 9 minutes later, and we're back to even, and you guys actually go ahead going into the break there. So I guess talk about a little bit about the psyche of the squad or how that's kind of been developing, or just your thoughts on everything.
Yeah, I think that was a big confidence booster for us. We know that if we get down, we can come back. We've proved that. So, these guys have played several games, for me as a coach, and I'm not the coach now. We have a great coach, Larry Cicchini, who actually took our Arnold girls to the state finals, right? So in his second year. So and he's done all kinds of things. So mentally, he prepares the guys really well for that. He's starting to figure them out now, and he knows how to get the best out of them. And so if we go down, and he's going to get them ready at half. We have a couple other good coaches as well. Carlos, Hatem, very experienced in the game. And so, that's not something we worry about. This is a pretty resilient group.
Anything else you want to spill on either just the team or anything that's going on or anything in the mix, Coach? I love that.
Yeah. I don't know. I would just say for our city and our players, and it goes back to their ability to fight back is, not a lot of cities have had to deal with what we've had to deal with, right? So everybody's had to deal with COVID, but not everybody had to deal with a Category 5 hurricane that destroyed, their houses and homes. And some guys that were living in town are now living on the beach. Some guys their houses are still rebuilt. They're living in other places. So, we have that fighter's mentality. And so no matter what the situation, we're going to fight to the end. So it's really, for us, we love our community. We support our community. And we're just excited to give them a team to cheer for and get behind. We're just so thankful to be able to be where we are right now. So, it's been a tough couple years for us here in Panama City, and so to finally be able to cheer and be happy and see our youth in this area perform and do what they love to do is really a cool thing.
All right, thanks again, Coach, for joining us. Once again, that was Coach Hammond, owner of the Florida Roots out in Panama City, our opponent coming up this Saturday. So make sure to catch the feed or attend in person here for the Tallahassee Soccer Club's game this Saturday, 7 o'clock down at Gene Cox Stadium. Kids always free. Adult tickets are just $7. If not, make sure to check out at TallySCtalk. We'll have all the links and everything you need to know, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you're looking to hit the mailbag or want to be a scheduled guest or want to talk some TSC content, hit us up. Just like Coach Hammond, you can be a part of the program. TallySCtalk@gmail.com. Thanks again for joining us. Andrew Joop signing off for a special episode of Behind Enemy Lines.